Robin on my teacup. December Part 2. This is called the magic mistletoe. Have you tried growing mistletoe? It all sounds so easy. Get a seed, rub onto some bark of a tree and stand back and wait. Then on the winter solstice, which is about now, you can go out and pick yourself a bunch of this lucky plant. But it is not as simple as all that. I have tried to grow mistletoe, and I am about 10 years down the line with it. I went to a market stall because I'd heard that you needed mistletoe grown locally, and this was from Hereford, so I thought I stood a good chance. We ran around, popping the berries into cracks on trunks of apple, maple and hawthorn trees. After 2 years, we had no mistletoe plants. Then I heard Bob Flowerdew saying that it was no good using Christmas berries. You had to wait till March, and you had to store them on wet sand. So that's what we did. I did it 5 years ago, and there were still no mistletoe plants. I resorted to the internet in the end and brought a kit. We used only apple trees this time, which are apparently the best hosts. I put a seed under a small bough immediately above my head. You squeeze the white berry and a sticky gum comes out. It's surrounding the seed, and you press that on the underside of your branch, and then you tease out the slime if you can bear it. They form strands which sort of fasten the seed onto the branch. It's okay if you don't think too much. We sewed more, climbing ladders, pulling branches and reaching up high, and then we forgot about them all. One day, several years later, my husband was pruning our apple tree, and I heard him shout, "We have mistletoe!" My little branch above my head had mistletoe. We've got our very own magic plant now, and it has formed a huge ball of light green leaves, and it has juicy white translucent berries just ready for Christmas. When we first arrived at this house, we planted an orchard using apple and pear saplings. Surprisingly, they all blossomed the following year. Then one day in autumn, there was a sharp rap at our door. I opened it, and there stood our neighbour from down the lane. He was in a smart suit. He was our parish councillor. "Have you planted a pear tree?" he asked. "Yes," I answered with a tremble, in case there was a bylaw against planting pear trees. "I've had a pear tree for 20 years, and it has never borne fruit until this year. So I've you to thank for planting a pollinator." And he handed me a basket of pears with a smile. I've told you this pear story because my mistletoe has fruit, so it's a female. And as mistletoe is not self-fertile, someone nearby has a male mistletoe. I wonder who you are. You're not too distant, because mistletoe is pollinated by little flies, special little flies, and they will not travel far. I would love to rap on your door and say, "Have you got mistletoe?" And you would say yes, and then I would hand you a basket of mistletoe with big white berries, and you could have as many kisses as there are berries. There's no law against that at Christmas.